Happy Sunday! We're back with you this Sunday. I've lost complete and total track of
13.
what week it is. Brooklyn says it's 13. I actually don't know, and I don't. So we're going to go with 13. I don't know. I forgot. I don't even know. But you know what's really exciting? That next week, on the 21st, we all have the opportunity to be back together, which is super exciting, and I know that we have both been looking forward to seeing everybody again. Unfortunately, there's not going to be children's service right now, so I think we will still continue our video chats with each other, but at least we potentially get to go to church and be worshiping with more people than just who happens to be in your household, which we love who happens to be in your households. That's totally fine, but sometimes it's just fun to see other people too. So yeah, next week on Father's Day, just remember, we'll be back together again, and make sure that you check out the email that went out this week about the, I guess, guidelines or whatever for being back in church. And it's funny that we are even talking about this, and especially this week. And then we think we're going to do a mid-week lesson, because this week is actually a two-parter, plus it makes up for us missing last week. And what we're talking about is a serious disease that people would get back in Jesus' time, which is pretty funny considering that we're in a serious disease that people can get right now. So, I think it's a good point too to remember that when you're having these lessons on Sunday morning and you're reading through the Bible, that things that the lessons and things that we talk about are still extremely relevant today, and how we should go about, obviously the guidelines and the standards are a little different from then and now, but how we should go about our day-to-day activity, remembering that we always have God in our corner no matter what is thrown at us. So we are going to talk about how Jesus healed 10 men while Brooklyn yawns.
I don't know why I am.
I don't know why you yawn either.
I took a nap.
So we're talking about how Jesus healed 10 men. But first, before we get into that, I would like to ask Brooklyn, can you think of a time that you just, jumped for joy? Like, you got some really good news or something really awesome happened, and, you could just not contain yourself, so you were just like, woo!
No, I can't.
You can't think of anything?
When still can't contain myself because I'm really excited to go to my cousin's.
Yes, well, that's true. When you found out that you had plans to go visit your cousin's house for the 4th of July, that's literally all you've talked about. So that is jumping for joy. I guess you could say that. Getting to see family after all of this is super exciting. So I could see that, being super excited about it and jumping for joy that you get to see everybody. I jumped for joy when I made our final reservations for Disney last year, because then we were really going. So that was super exciting.
Well, that's probably better than seeing my cousin. Well, no.
But still, it was super exciting, and I was really thrilled about it, and I was
I want to go to Disney.
Woo! So, yes, that was our times of jumping for joy.
Jumping for joy when we made a reservations to go to the beach.
Yeah, that was a jump for joy because we didn't know we were going to do that. It was very last minute, spur of the moment. Okay, so Brooklyn is now going to read our Bible story, and it comes from Luke 17. And before we read that, though, I want you guys to think about what our big picture question is. And our big picture question is, why did God create people? So just think about that while Brooklyn's reading, and try to figure out or think about within this story why you think God created people. So or like I said, the story comes from Luke 17. So here she goes.
Jesus was on his way to Jerusalem. When he entered a village, 10 men cried out to him, "Jesus, Master, have mercy on us." The 10 men did not come close to Jesus because they had a skin disease called leprosy.
Yeah, leprosy.
Jesus saw them and said, "Go show yourselves to the priests." Jesus wanted the men to follow the law God had given to Moses. The law said the person who has a skin disease had to go to a priest to be examined when the disease was gone. The priest and the person had to follow certain rules so the person could live a normal life among people again. As they went, the 10 men were miraculously healed. One of the men, seeing that he was healed, went back to Jesus. He praised God and fell face down at Jesus' feet, thanking him over and over. This man wasn't a Jew, he was a Samaritan. Jesus asked the man, "Weren't 10 men cleansed? Where are the others?" Only this man, a forgiver, had returned.
A foreigner.
A foreigner had returned to give thanks and praise to God. Jesus told him, "Get up and go on your way. Your faith has saved you."
Cool. So, did you catch the similarities? Leprosy, COVID-19. So even back then, they followed specific guidelines and laws that went apart or that went along with leprosy, just like we are doing now, except that theirs were probably a little bit more intense. Well, maybe not. Maybe they were the same. Maybe it was like, wear your mask and stand 6 feet apart. And maybe not. Maybe. I don't know. Probably. But anyway, so they had specific rules and things that they were supposed to do to stay healthy. And after they were cured and going back into society, they still had specific things that they needed to basically check off their list that they were okay and ready to re-enter society. So,
I bet that's what's going to happen to us.
Well, kind of.
So,
goodness, our cat just like jumped at it scared me. So Jesus healed the 10 men who cried out to him, and then the one who had faith, who came back and was thanking him and was praising him, basically, was saved in a totally different way, which was fantastic. So now I asked you, why did God create people? So Jesus asked the man, "I healed 10 of you. Where are the others? You're the only one who came back." And he fell to Jesus' feet and worshipped him and was thank you. You're amazing. We love you so much. Da, 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 da. So because of that, he was then saved because he showed Jesus that he now had this extreme faith in him, and what he could do. And he even had faith even prior to being healed, but then his faith was deepened for that. So in the end, we are created, God's people are created to worship him and to love him. So that's our purpose. So why are we created? Why are people created? To worship God and to love God. Sometimes it's hard to worship God, especially when
we're going through hard times.
Yeah, when things are hard, when things are really tough, or something sad happens, or you're tired, or whatever. Sometimes it's hard to stop for a second and worship God because of everything that he's done for you. And so it's a huge reminder that, even when things aren't going the greatest, you should always take many moments, as many as you can, to always thank God for what he's done in your life, because he continues to work in your life every single day, regardless of if you see it or feel it. And he's constantly working to We don't need to just praise and worship him in the good times. We need to praise and worship him in the bad time, all the time. Doesn't matter when it is. Good, bad, whatever. So yeah. I think that was it. I thought I was going to say something else, but I forgot. So, we've been going through the timeline of Jesus' life, and like we said way back, and I guess we're saying if this is week 13, way back in week 1, we've talked about for 13 weeks the things that have happened in Jesus' life, and I don't know if you remember it or not, but we said that a lot of the things that happened, a lot of the things that are documented in the Bible are things that happened within about a 3-year span of time. So even already over 13 weeks of time, think back to everything and everyone he has had an impact on in just that 3 years. And then if you were to think about his whole life and all the people that he had an impact on, it was probably it's just insane to even think about, really. And not only to think about that, but that was just the 3 years that he was, he was on earth for 33 years. But in that time frame, he probably reached plenty of people, but he's still reaching people now. And we're still learning about him now. And we're still thankful for the things that he has done now. And that's how many years later? So, wow, that's crazy. So, like I said, I think we're going to do a midweek little session, basically, to catch us up from last week and to continue to elaborate on Jesus healing, which once again, COVID-19. I think that's all. Yeah. And while we're at it, since we always ask for prayer requests, which not many people have been putting anything down, so I guess that means everybody is super good. I don't know. But if you'd like to share a praise instead of a prayer request, please do, because not only, we need to worship God. We need to be excited that praise has happened, and that something you asked for or something, that you didn't ask for that's good happened. So if you'd love to throw some praises in the comments, that would be really awesome too. And we can't wait to see you next week. Yay. Well, I hope everybody has a really good week, and we will see you some point, maybe Wednesday, maybe Thursday. We'll see how we feel. Have a great week. Bye.